What's up, everybody? It's the Goal60 here for Sunday, September the 1st, 2019. So I'm joined today by Toby, somebody who has been with the program, with the following for a long time now. We finally get to do a video together. I'm pretty excited about that. And we're going to try to do this every week, where we're going to do like a recap of the week of baseball and football and kind of go over what we thought and, talk about some of the near misses and just really how to get better as the season goes on. And with that said, Toby, thanks for joining me. And we'll get started with some baseball. So if you want to take off, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I'd just like to start off with saying that I've been following Clay for quite a long time these days. And I ran into Clay probably about 3 years ago. He's had a YouTube channel on. And the guy always had a great point of view, and he was just more or less set in his ways, and I just always loved his technique, man. So,
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. And honestly, I don't know if anybody knows, but we more or less just kind of text each other most of the time, and that's kind of how I communicated with Clay. But he invited me to come on the show today, and I just couldn't be more pleased. But I want to just start off saying also that I love baseball, and baseball is one of my favorite sports of all time, and always has been. And Clay's helped me kind of start getting into college football too. So before even I met Clay, I live in Texas, and Texas is nothing but football. So anyway, I just want to say yesterday was a great day, in my opinion, for baseball. I know there was a couple that we missed. There was a Cleveland game that was kind of like a wash, but I don't know if anybody watched that Yankee game.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was awesome. They were behind the whole game pretty much, and right there at the 8th inning, they decided to get involved. And it was 2 outs, 2 strikes. Aaron Judge comes up and just wallops one, man.
Yes,
ties him up and takes him into extras. And that bottom of the 10th inning, first at bat, this guy, I forget his name, but he's first in the batting lineup. And the cool thing about this guy is he's one of their greatest hitters, and he was 0 for 3 that day. Yeah. And the first or the second pitch, he gets a hold of and pushes it in the right field stands. So that was a great win. That felt great, kind of like the early start off.
The Cardinals, they won won both games yesterday.
They won both, and they got 2 more games today too. So they got 4 games in 2 days. So
exactly.
They're going to be worn out. I don't know if that's going to be much of a high-scoring game for those guys today, but
4 games in 2 days. That's unbelievable. And earlier in the week, we had some good wins. We had the Cubs against the Mets. We had a better price there. We were actually a little bit of an underdog. We won that one. Minnesota has been taking care of business. They won their game. At that, we also had Cleveland at that point, So we've had some good wins this week.
Right. Yeah. And the fact that New York finally took care of it based on the last series that we played.
Right.
That was almost like a carryover, in my opinion.
Exactly. As short as it was, it being within a week of each other, it definitely was a carryover. And you remember last year when me and you were actually watching this before we ever went public on here or anything with it, and we were kind of testing this system. We had that one loss of Philadelphia, but that was it. The rest of the time, we were golden.
Most of these people who are watching, they know what to do today, don't they? I mean,
oh yeah,
they've been following long enough.
Right. They've definitely been following, and it's been really neat, Toby. Like I've had, like you said, you've been with me for 3 years now, and we've went back and forth almost every single day. We've went back and forth on games and talked about, and how we were approaching them and just different things.
Yeah,
I've had people come, out of nowhere and say, "Hey, I've been following you for over a year now, and just thought I'd say hello." That's awesome. I mean, that's really cool. That's why I started this thing. So
I'd encourage anybody to, if you want to contact Clay, he's always open for questions, and he's always got an answer. And if he doesn't know the answer, he'll find out the answer. for you. So he's
Yeah.
always been such a good source for me, just for anything sports. I mean, he's not just baseball and football. The guy, he watches probably about much anything. But
Yeah.
he's
Hockey.
yeah, hockey.
Absolutely. Yeah. We share a love there, man. And one day, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. And I do. I try to find those answers for folks, and try to really, because all my stuff is system. So I try to like back it up with, how try to show them what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing. So if they could do it themselves, really, if they wanted to.
But if anything, if anybody wants to take anything from this, it's a slow moving
Yes.
train. It's not
That's right.
you can't win it all in one
Right.
season. And really, that's the approach you really need to look at.
You're exactly right.
That'll
Exactly
get you
right.
through the tough days like yesterday.
Yep.
We're about to go over some of them college plays. Sometimes those days happen, but
Yep.
you get upset. And Clay said before, he almost hates losing more than he likes winning.
You're exactly right on that one. You're exactly right. I hate losing. I absolutely despise. I remember the games that I lose. I have to go back sometimes and look at some of my notes to see games that we've won, but I
Yeah.
can remember games that we've lost.
I
Like
know, man.
that, and it's just it gets to me. But
It's just human nature, man. That's just part
Oh,
of it. So if anybody gets discouraged, just
Right.
keep your head up, move on forward. We got this thing, man. Let's
That's
keep
right.
on.
That's exactly right. But with that said, let's jump into some football. We're
right.
running, and yesterday wasn't a ton of games. There wasn't a lot. This year was kind of down as far as opening weekend games, but I took a couple on the chin for sure with the Oregon teams. The state of Oregon is not my favorite place in America right now. I can tell you that. Like I was telling you before we started recording, Oregon State on Friday night stayed with Oklahoma State. And if you look at that score, you think, well, you didn't cover. And I didn't. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I was so frustrated on the third quarter because they went for two twice and didn't get either one in opportunities that they really didn't need to go for two just yet. Mid of the fourth quarter and you score and you're still down by one, I get it. Go for two. Try to get it early so you know what you got to do on the last score. But when you're in the third quarter, that was a dumb mistake. And what it did was we missed our cover by a point. So, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But
We
the
kind
other
of.
Oregon, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they went for two like that. It doesn't
I
make
don't
sense.
either.
If anybody
I don't
would
either.
like to add in the comments to why the heck those assholes went for two twice
Exactly.
like that, I'd appreciate it because I played football for 15 years. I don't know I have no clue why they did this.
Exactly.
But anyway.
I'm the same way. I don't know what happened, what the thinking process there was, but then you take the other Oregon school who we were on, and we're leading at one point in the fourth quarter, 21-6 over Auburn with a freshman quarterback. And you guys, the ones of you who have been following this for any time long, know that I graduated from Alabama. I'm alum. I'm diehard, but I still had for Auburn to win the game, I'd have been okay with it if they'd have just kicked a freaking field goal instead of throwing a touchdown with 9 seconds left and cause us to miss that cover. I mean, it was just like somebody stabbed me twice there at the end of the game. But bad beats, two of them there. Did get a couple wins in the North Carolina game. Took the under there, got that win, and took North Carolina plus 10. And that actually went up to 11.5. If any of you waited till later on, you really got a good number. And even better number. You covered that. You covered three key numbers, 3, 7, and 10, all right there, and they win the game outright. So that was awesome.
And that was great. Those are the wins that create that balance that we kind of talk about. Is
right.
You could take those bad beats. That Auburn freaking Oregon game, that to me was a bad beat. In the other Oregon game, Oregon State was another just. When you're right there on the fringe, what do you do, But the wins just make you feel good that your system's working well, that it's solid. So, that's what we're catapulting from, right?
Right.
So I agree with you fully. Those felt really good. At Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
didn't you find out that Pittsburgh under?
No, I had leaned to the under, but I didn't ever make it a play.
Okay.
Um,
That was a
and that's
good.
one of those me and you had talked about earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh, I missed on that one. They had the lead at halftime. They were up 14-13. I thought we were in a good situation. I thought it was going to be one of those go back and forth games. And
Yeah.
give it to Virginia, man. They came out, made the adjustments at halftime, come out and win that game. The last touchdown really, without it, they would have still covered. They were up 23-14. But with it, they really made it look a little bit worse than it was. They scored a touchdown with about a minute left after Pittsburgh had went for it on fourth down on their own 15. So really, that wasn't a big, that one wasn't a big deal. The 23-14 is what I'm calling it, just simply because that is actual stats that I can go off of and see that yes, I missed it. I missed it by X number of points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I try to think. Those garbage time touchdowns, even if they cause you to miss a cover, to me that's nothing. I try to take that out of my data because it's just like that situation. They went 15 yards in 2 plays and scored a touchdown. Whoop-de-doo.
Right.
I mean, it was, in the game, Pittsburgh seemed that they weren't going to come back. How much did they actually go out there and play with on the 15-yard line?
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, it wasn't a terrible weekend by any stretch. It was, 2-3 right now going into tomorrow night's game with Louisville. That line has definitely, a lot of people's been on Louisville, which does scare me. It's come down to, I think, 18. And earlier in the week, it was at 21.
Yes.
When we done the video, it's 20.5, and that's what I gave it out at. And it is coming down. Hopefully they can get the cover there at 20.5, like we gave out back first a week in the video. Yeah. But if not, it's still not bad. We had some points there. We had a couple bad beats, but other than that, I felt pretty solid. And if we can start turning some of these close games into W's going forward, we'll be all right.
Yeah. I agree. And with that line going down 18, it's still over, over 2 touchdowns. I mean, that would help out. Touchdown and 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Right.
That'd be helpful if it stayed up there. Are you recommending the folks to be weary about that number?
I tell you what I would do is personally, I've already put it in the bet. I've got plus 20.5. Yeah. If I had not put in the bet, what I would be doing is I would wait until that game started, and I'd be looking at a live line, just simply because let's see what they're coming out with. If Notre Dame comes out and they're just boom, boom, boom down the field and score, maybe hold off a little bit. But if Louisville comes out and gets a 3 and out or something like that, and you say, hey, they are here to play, they are here to compete, that's when maybe you could look at taking a line and being fine. But yeah, if I hadn't, because that line move has been so much towards what we're taking, with us, I guess, I'd rather have a line move against us. That means that most of the tickets are coming on the other side. But I know to get one with us. Yeah. So
you were hoping that most of those folks would see the gold top and go, oh man, here we go.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Especially when we had that hook, when it was 20.5, and they're thinking, oh, well, that just means we got to score 3 touchdowns or, win by 3 touchdowns. That's tougher than it seems. And I don't know. I think Satterfield coming over from Appalachian State's a good coach. Let's see what he's got this first time. You don't have Louisville still got talent. They don't, they had a terrible year last year, but they still got talent. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. But, well, Toby, we've come up against a time frame that I have to cut it down to be able to upload. I really appreciate you joining me, and we're going to do this every week.
It was my pleasure. Are you kidding? Next time I'll be a little bit more prepared. I won't kiss so much of your butt either, I just wanted to get that out of the way in the first video.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
All right. Later. Bye.
60% of the time, it works every time.